welcome everybody to this session of the Equipo Europa's Opportunities Fair. We are here with the College of Europe and we have Manfredi with us. And maybe you can just briefly present yourself before starting the presentation. That would be great.
Of course. Thank you very much, Ina. And let me thank you once again for inviting the College of Europe to this session to present our offer, our scholarships and our academic offer. My name is Manfredi Mineo. I come from Italy. I was a student of the College of Europe, the Natolin campus in 2018, during the 2018-2019 academic year. And then I started working for the College of Europe in the Communications and Recruitment Office. So what I do is that I promote the scholarships of the College of Europe abroad, especially in the European Union, and also the academic program of the College of Europe. I'm also involved in the recruitment process, so I also do recruit students from particular selection committees. That's pretty much it about myself.
So much for being here. And you can start whenever you want.
Okay. Before starting, let me just share with you in the chat a quick link. It's a form in case you want to stay in touch with us. At the end of the presentation, you might have more questions. You might want to know more about the College of Europe. So I just shared with you a way of staying in contact with us. We send newsletters, but it's not a spam at all. It's like 4 or 5 newsletters per year, and it's useful to understand what's going on at the college and also to see other opportunities related to the college. So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna share again the screen. Can you confirm, Ina, that the screen is
yes.
It's full screen and that you can see? Yes.
Yes. We see the history. Okay.
So I'm gonna start. I'm gonna try to be as brief as possible to not to be boring. If possible, at the end, I would like to have like a short Q&A session with you guys, if you feel involved, and if Ina allows it, if it's possible. We are a postgraduate institute of European studies. Maybe some of you already heard of us. The College of Europe is the top postgraduate institute of European studies, probably in the world. We are specialized in European affairs. We have 6 different programs in 2 campuses, one in Bruges, a city of Belgium, and one in Warsaw, a city of Poland. A little bit about our history, maybe you want to know about that. The College of Europe was established in 1948 after the Hague Congress by the founding fathers of the European community, Salvador de Madariaga, Winston Churchill, Alcide De Gasperi, and others that you can see in the slide. The objective of the College of Europe, of the establishment of the College of Europe, was that of fostering European integration at the time. Of course, you can imagine the devastation that the Second World War brought to the old continent, to Europe. And the idea was to bring together in one campus, at the time only the Bruges campus, bring together students from all over Europe at the time, and young graduates actually, and make them work together to foster European integration. In the 90s, a second campus was established. It's the campus I'm talking from, the Natolin campus, so the campus of the College of Europe in Warsaw. It was established under different historical circumstances, of course. In the 90s, the European Union was thinking of enlarging the Union, and instead of only integrating it, also enlarging it. And of course, Poland was at the center of this process. So a second campus was established with this initial focus. Now at Natolin, we are more focused towards the ENP, the European Neighborhood Policy. But I will tell you a little bit more about later on. But just to let you know that since I represent, the Natolin campus, I will be focused more on the campus of Warsaw. But if you have other questions about the other programs, I will be happy to answer. Postgraduate program, which means that we accept students who are in their last year of their master degree, or students who have already obtained a master degree. It's postgraduate institute. It's a one-year program. It accounts to 66 ECTS, and it's taught in English and in French. However, I will already tell you that the French requirement shouldn't scare you that much. Of course, you need to have some basis in French. You need to learn and to study it in case you still don't have a basic knowledge of French. But most of the courses are in English. It shouldn't discourage you. It should incentivize you to study the language even more. In the Natolin campus, we have a master's degree in European and interdisciplinary studies. It's the only degree program we have here on campus at Natolin, but it's rather comprehensive because we have 4 different specializations that you can choose from this program: EU Public Affairs and Policies, the EU and the World, the EU and its Neighbors, and European History and Civilization. But in the Bruges campus, so we move to Belgium, there's 4 different programs: European Political and Governance Studies, International Relations and Diplomacy Studies, European Economic Studies, and European Law, LLM in European Law. I said 6 before, 6 programs, and it's true, we have not a 6th one, but it's a little bit different. It's the Master of Arts in Transatlantic Affairs. It's a 2-year program, 120 ECTS. And it's taught exclusively in English. So it is a bit different from the other programs. It includes a high-level internship, and it's the equivalent of a double degree program that we have with the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University in Boston. Meaning that you would, if you were to be accepted to this program, you would pass 1 year in Natolin and 1 year in Boston, or depending on your choice in the application, 1 year in Bruges and 1 year in Boston. Now, let me jump in. I will try to do this as quickly as possible, but let me tell you how an academic year looks like in Natolin. And what I'm telling you about Natolin in general terms can also be applied to the Bruges programs, in the sense that the academic years are not so different between each other, even though, of course, we're talking about different programs, but it's something that can help you understand also more about the other programs. The academic year is clearly cut into semesters, also academically, because in the first semester at Natolin, you can choose between the interdisciplinary track and the pluridisciplinary track. The difference between the two is your level of knowledge in European affairs and related disciplines. If you are weak, still a bit weak in those subjects, in European affairs in general, but you were accepted nevertheless, you can choose the pluridisciplinary track, so that you will have, since the beginning of the year, introductory courses on European affairs, so that you can tackle the second semester with better results. While if you feel you're already rather strong in the subject, you may already have had quite a number of exams related in EU affairs, you can choose the interdisciplinary track, which also puts you already in an advanced level since the very beginning of the year. The second semester is where things get more interesting, for sure, because in the second semester, you can choose 1 out of the 4 specializations you see here in the slide. You can specialize in EU public affairs and policies, in EU and the world, in EU and its neighbors. As I said, if you're interested in the ENP, European Neighborhood Policy, the EU and its neighbors is your specialization. And finally, European history and civilization. I'm just going to anticipate here that at Natolin, we have two main academic chairs. The first one is the European Neighborhood Policy Chair, and the second one is the European History and Civilization Chair. And those two chairs grant a certain number of scholarships. We're going to tackle that in the scholarship section, of course. Very quickly, we are a flying faculty. That's how we call our faculty, because we have professors and practitioners coming from all over the world. More than 100 plus professors and practitioners each year. And of course, we would not be able to have all of them on campus with us at the same time. We are a flying faculty in the sense that professors come and go based on their exams and courses. And some of them have been working with us for years, for more than now more than 20 years also, in the case of Natolin, but they come and go also in relation to their duties in other universities. We have, aside from the classical academic program, we have also workshops, seminars, master classes. There's a variety of activities you can choose from. However, the academic year at Natolin, in general terms, I would say, is quite tough, but tough in the sense that it's a valid academic program. There are 12 exams, including first and second semester, to sustain, and the thesis to write. Thesis is compulsory. It's between 12,000 and 18,000 words, which means that it's no more than 40 pages, 40, 50 pages, if I'm not wrong. So it's not a long thesis, but still you have many exams to pass. So I would say there are many other activities aside from the academic ones, but if you were to be accepted, I would advise you not to overcharge your schedule in a sense. One main feature of the Natolin campus are our study trips. We bring students to the heart of the European Union and its neighborhood. We do that in two 1 week long study trips in the first semester and in the second semester. Here you can see some of the countries we've already been in. So in EU's neighborhood, for example, we've been to Ukraine since up until 2014, up until 2018. Every year we were going to Ukraine in the first semester. We've been to Tunisia. We've been other countries in their neighborhood here are not represented, but we've been to Jordan as well, to Georgia, Armenia, for example. While in the European Union, we've been also to Belgium, Luxembourg, and Czechia, Czech Republic, and you can see other countries here. It is an academic study trip, so it's not a holiday, but it's rather a 1 week long study trip where you have workshops, you have seminars, you have classes, and it accounts to a certain amount of credit at the end of the year. You have an exam on each study trip, an exam on the first semester study trip and an exam on the second semester study trip. So it is an integral part of the academic program. Here are some photos of previous study trips. Here we were in Kiev. Here in Tunisia. I recognize also Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Brussels, of course, and here I'm not quite sure. I think it was the Baltics. if you want to study languages, if at your university you are already studying a foreign language and you want to keep that, well, you can do it at the college, because we have a language and cultural dialogue department which proposes you 8 different languages. You can choose 2 out of all of those: Arabic, English, French, German, Italian, Polish, Russian, and Spanish. And the most important thing to mention here is that we offer you the possibility to do an exam on this language that you choose, a language exam that allows you to receive a certificate based on your level from A1 to C2, so whatever level you are at. And this language certificate exam this certificate, is recognized internationally and especially in the EU bubble. So this allows you to have, while studying at the College of Europe, the possibility to reach the level you want, to have it certified, and to be able to put that in the applications for any EU job right away. Let me go immediately to another slide about our network. We have quite a vast community. It's more than 50,000 alumni, including the Bruges campus. Bruges and Nathalie combined, it's 50,000 alumni. We have some notable alumni who have been studying at the College of Europe, like Margaritis Schinas, Vice President of the European Commission, Maria Pejinovic-Buric, Secretary General of the Council of Europe, Rafał Trzaskowski, that maybe some of you may not know, of course, he's the mayor of Warsaw. And the network, also as an alumni myself, I can tell you it's rather interesting, because you meet people from all over the world, not only the European Union, but really all over the world. And it's a network that doesn't let you down after you graduated. You're always stimulated by offers that come from the alumni network, because of course, since the college has been established in 1949, then there are alumni who are well into their careers. So sometimes there are specific offers sent to College of Europe students. So it's rather interesting and it's rather dynamic. Here, if you want to read, it's just a quote from Maria Pejinovic-Buric. I will need a few seconds to read. She was a student of ours in 1993, 1994. So it was the first or second cohort of students at Nathalie, since the Nathalie campus was established in 1992. Let's talk about the employment sector. Most of our students after the college end up working either for EU institutions, either for the private sectors like companies, consultancies, and trade associations. But you see here 25% and 25%. But there is a significant 12% of students who are particularly interested in the academic career, who continue with a PhD, work in academic institutions, think tanks, and so on and so forth. Then, of course, there are many students who specialize in European affairs at the college to then come back to their own countries and work in the public administration, in the diplomatic service, for example. It's rather common for students who are really interested to work in the diplomatic service to try the concours or the test to enter the diplomatic service of their own countries. As said previously at the beginning of the presentation, we have 2 main chairs, the European Civilization Chair, the European Neighborhood Policy Chair. These chairs organize high-level events throughout the year, conferences, debates, but more interestingly, they also work closely together with the students, because the students organize themselves in student societies based on their interests. And then they work closely together with the chairs in a subsection that is called Natolin nests. It's rather important to talk about it because Natolin nests, it's really the work of students and staff combined. And they participate often in very important conferences. Just to give you an idea, the Energy and Climate Governance Nest in 2018 participated in the COP24 conference in Katowice, the COP24. And the students were there not only as spectators, you know, as they were there as active participants. They worked in the drafts, and I know personally some of them who ended up working in EU's energy sector, not only because, of course, they had an amazing CV, they were really interested in that, but also maybe a little part, but also because of this experience that gave them quite some credit in front of the board that interviewed them in their different job application. Here are some photos of the high-level events we organized throughout the years. There's Espinosa, there's Michel Barnier, who was the EU chief negotiator for Brexit. Former French President François Hollande, Madeleine Albright. It's rather interesting to participate in these events because it gives you the possibility to be on site live when these high-level figures make a speech. And I should also talk about student life, of course. Student life is really, really dynamic because we have more than, in Natolin, we have 130 students, more or less, and in Bruges, 340, also more or less. But they all come from around 50 different nationalities, meaning that in a typical year at Natolin, you, as a Spanish student, you would live together with Greeks, with Italians, with French, with Germans, with Tunisians, with Georgians, with Armenians, and so on and so forth. So it's more than 50 different countries. Every country is represented. So it's rather an interesting year. It's a real melting pot. We have a restaurant, so high standard of accommodation, indoor, outdoor spaces, but on our website, you can find much more on that than here. These are a few photos of the Natolin campus. Yeah, let me just quickly tell you what we did during COVID-19. Of course, during the first phase of the pandemic, we had to switch everything online. However, not the student life. We switched courses online, activities online, but we still decided to host students on campus for the 2020-2021 academic year. Of course, with all the measures, sanitary measures that we had to enforce, masks, plexiglass, and many other things. Now we're seeing that since the pandemic situation is a bit changing in current times, we're seeing some measures, especially in Poland, some measures being lifted, meaning that we are going to host, of course, in the next academic year students for sure, but also we hope the campus will be enough safe to have most of the measures lifted. Those are two quotes from two of our previous students, Tatevik and Esmat, both from the Hannah Arendt promotion. Quite an unlucky promotion because they had a normal first semester and a second semester that was abruptly interrupted in the sense of change of plans because of COVID-19. I said the campus is in Warsaw. Warsaw is a dynamic city. It's the capital of Poland. It's a UNESCO World Heritage. It has some important institutions like Frontex. If you're interested in EU's migration policies, then Frontex, you should know that Frontex is in Warsaw, and then many of our students, alumni, end up working in Frontex after studying at the College of Europe, either beginning with an internship or directly through a job application, a full-time job. The campus, though, while it is still pretty much in Warsaw, because it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes by metro to the city center, it is in a district where there's also a natural reserve. And the campus, since the 90s, is inside this nature reserve, which is in the city, but is dedicated to mostly to the College of Europe students. So it's rather a unique opportunity to live in a vibrant city like Warsaw, but at the same time to live in a nature reserve. There's a big forest, as you can see, and every year students live in this beautiful setting, I must say. The Bruges campus is in Bruges, a city of Belgium, a beautiful city of Belgium, and you have a different campus life, because while in Netherlands we have one campus, in Bruges you have, yes, one campus, but the students are living in different residences scattered around the city. Bruges is a beautiful city. It's the medieval city situated north of Belgium in Flanders, UNESCO World Heritage Site as well, of course, and close to Brussels, so all the advantages related to it. So maybe this is the time to specify this. We are talking about the academic year 2023-2024, because the the admissions for the academic year 2022-2023 have already closed in January. So this leaves you enough time to think about your future if you want to study at the College of Europe. But you should know that the applications for the College of Europe will open again in October 2022, and they will close in mid-January 2023. Let me talk about the academic requirements. As I said, we are a postgraduate institute, so we host students who are in their last year of their master degree, or that already have a master degree. They need to have 240 ECTS. However, that doesn't mean that they need to have all of those ECTS by the closure of the applications. They need to have it by the beginning of the academic year, meaning that it's pretty common that we accept students who are finishing, still don't have their master diploma in January. It's pretty common that we accept those students, and then upon the condition that they send us the diploma during the academic year. You need to have, according to the programs, an English level of minimum B2 and the French level of minimum A2, B1, depending on the programs. The fees to study at the College of Europe are 26,000 euros, covering both tuition and board and lodging. It covers everything. But as we are a non-profit organization, we have an extensive scholarship program. More than 70% of our students in Bruges and Nathalie combined receive a full or partial scholarship. It follows two schemes. The first is the governmental scheme. So we have agreements with the MFAs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of different governments. And with them, such as with Spain, we have a certain number of scholarships dedicated to Spanish students in your case, and to Italians in another case. So these are governmental scholarship. It's your government's granting a certain amount of scholarships if you want to study at the College of Europe, most of the time based on merit, but also on income. It can be. Our scholarships are only awarded on the basis of merit. You can apply to our scholarships through the application portal once it's open. You can apply to the college exclusively on that application portal when it opens. There is no other place where you can apply. So even the motivation letters for the scholarships can be found there. We have the ENP scholarships, very popular one, if you want to specialize in the European neighborhood policy. We have the ENP scholarships for EU citizens and the ENP scholarships for ENP countries' citizens. It can be the case that some of you have a double nationality, and this second nationality is part of is one of the ENP countries. So you can, if you have this second nationality, then you can apply for also for the ENP scholarship ENP countries. At Natonin only, we have the history scholarship, as I told you, for the history and civilization chair, can be full or partial. It's for those students who are particularly interested in European history or the history of the European Union. It's rather broad, but it's for students who are interested in those thematics or students who are graduated in history. You can apply with a motivation letter in the application portal. Then there's a relatively new scholarship because it's the second year, if I'm not mistaken, that we have it. It's the journalism scholarship. It's not based on an application that you do. There's no motivation letter that you can send for this journalism scholarship. However, if you have a profile that we think may fit with this scholarship, then we can award you the scholarship after we've reviewed your overall application. How to join the College of Europe, and I promise I'm almost finished. Once the application opened in October 2022, you can go to the portal, create a profile. It's free, and you can choose up to 2 study programs. So it can be, let's say, you want to choose IRD, which is a Bruges program, and EIS, which is a Natonin program. You can put the 2 choices in the application portal, and you can also rank them based on your preferences. In the application, you have to send us your CV. There's a section where you have to write a motivation letter, also for the scholarship, your transcripts and diploma scans, and 2 recommendation letters. This is the most important part, in my opinion, because we require from you 2 recommendation letters coming from 2 of your university professors. And these recommendation letters are rather important because we read them and we understand also academically what's your level. If you really cannot find 2 professors, we allow one of the 2 recommendation letters to come from one of your direct supervisor at work, if you have work experience. So someone who can assess your work in a job position. The recruitment phase involves 2 different processes. The first one is the pre-selection. So that's where we review your application, give a certain grade based on our tables. And then there's the interview phase. If you have been pre-selected, then you're invited, usually in your case, at the selection committee in Spain, you're invited for an interview that will be in French and in English. And if you pass the interview, then you are accepted to the College of Europe. The decisions will be in May, June 2023 for admission, and for scholarship in around May, July 2023. So it was quite long, I understand that, but I would really be more than happy to answer any kind of question you have if we have the time, of course. And thank you very much for listening.
Thanks for the presentation. I think it was very complete, but let's see if people have questions. You can raise your hand and speak, or just write it in the chat. Yes, we already have one question. Go on.
Hi, I think it's me. So I did the application this year. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for the presentation. I think all the points were really clear, especially regarding Nanturin, because it's a more unknown campus, I think, or people, when thinking of the college, always think of Bruges. So I did the application this year, and I was wondering if I should have received already the pre-selection, because I haven't received anything. So I was wondering about the dates on the pre-selection, if I had, or you should have already received it or not. I don't know if you could give me some clue about the pre-selection, because yeah.
Okay, no, this really depends on the countries, because we cannot deal with every country all at once. So as far as I'm aware, did you apply to Nanturin as well?
No. Well, my first option was Bruges.
Yeah, so in that sense, you would have to talk to my colleagues from the admissions department in Bruges, because I know that it takes time to evaluate all the countries and to give an answer to all the students coming from different selection committees. But I don't know your case, and I cannot know it. You would have to ask to the Bruges campus. Yes,
because I assume that they should have said it, because normally when you're not preselected, you receive a message.
No, yes, you should have received an answer. That's for sure. We send answers of rejection and
okay, because it makes no sense, because the scholarship, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Spain scholarships have already opened for the College of Europe, and they close at the end of this month. And one of the requirements is that you have been pre-selected, of course, for you to apply to this scholarship. So I'm like, I cannot apply right now because I don't know if I have been pre-selected. But anyways, I will talk to the Bruges admissions.
Yeah, send them an email. No worries, but send them an email, and they will, because at this moment I really cannot know your specific case. So just send them an email, and they will answer you back.
And another question regarding the admission requirements. In my case, I don't have a master's degree, and I have some professional experience. I'm working now, so I was wondering, because you made a lot of emphasis that you are a postgraduate institute. How is that valued? I was wondering if you could elaborate.
So you applied with you only have a bachelor degree, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so the application requirement states that you need to have 240 CTS,
which I do have, yeah. Okay.
So you do have them, right?
Yes, because in Spain it's 4 years.
It's a 4-year the bachelor. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Perfect. All correct. Yeah, no, then you have the academic requirements, and of course what you said about the work experience, it's of course it's valued, especially if it's relevant to the program and to European affairs. But this is the whole application is thoroughly, I can speak for experience, is thoroughly analyzed. So whatever you have sent in the pre-selection, you have uploaded in pre-selection, will be checked. So it is something that is valid for sure. Then I guess now we can pass to some other questions, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Joachim. I see that we have questions. Oh, okay. In the chat, but it was already answered. Okay.
Yeah, there are some questions before that. Scroll a bit up.
I'm gonna share maybe our office contact. Whoever wants to save that in case you have more questions about the College of Europe.
Okay, great. And maybe I can read the question for you. Andres is asking, is there an age limit to obtain the scholarship?
No, there is no age limit. There is no age limit to apply or to obtain the scholarship. You should know, however, that the average age at the college is around 27 years old, the average, 25, 27. Meaning that in a typical academic year, we have students who are only 22, 23 years old, who have managed to get a master in that short time. But then we also have students who are 33, 35, 36 years old. It can happen because let's say that the college is a mix of young graduates and professionals also who have been working who are working for a certain amount of years, and they want to study again European affairs, and it happens also a lot, they are founded by their own companies to study at the College of Europe in order to specialize themselves even further in European affairs. So it's not, and I want to stress this, it's not exactly like a university. It's different. It's a postgraduate institute. So it's a different kind of approach that you should have. It's professionals and young graduates in the same context. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for this clarification. Next question about the language course you mentioned. Is it for free or you have to pay a certain fee?
No, language courses, I mean, it's everything, any feature of the College of Europe is included in the fees. So language courses is the language office is an office, a department of the college, so it is included in the fees. You can get a partial or a full scholarship, and that with a full scholarship, you wouldn't have to pay anything. With a partial scholarship, you pay a certain amount of fees for the whole College of Europe academic year, and the languages are part of it, yes. It's like courses, it's an academic activity.
All right, and we have another question. Is it possible to apply to both Poland and Belgium campuses?
Yes, thank you. It's absolutely possible. In this case, you have up to 2 choices. It's the maximum program choices that you have once you apply. And if you want to apply to one of the 4 programs in Bruges, you indicated that as your choice. And then the second choice, you put the EIS program, which is the program in Nathalie. So doing this, you would apply to the campus in Nathalie and in Bruges.
All right, the next question is, do you have any special arrangements or quotas for students with disabilities?
That's a very good question. But I would have to, if you send me an email on communications.pl@coleurope.eu, I would have to check this with the relevant department who knows about it. And I'm happy to let you know, because I don't want to say things that are not correct, that wrong things about this quota, but I believe there is. But I would ask you to send me an email so I can give you a precise information on it. The
next question is about the choice of preference. Is it taken into account, and is it also possible to get selected by the both courses?
Yeah. Well, very good question. It is taken absolutely into account, but if you are selected to your second choice, in the application, you can either state that the choice of program is a ranking of your preferences. So first choice is your preference and second choice is the least preferred. Either you can state that both choices are equal to you. So this is very clear. It can happen that you're not accepted to your first choice. Let's say you choose the law program, but the law program the recruiters think that you don't have the necessary profile to study there, then you would be accepted on your second choice. You may also be accepted for both choices, even though you ranked the first one as your preference. Because of course, the second choice is not going to exclude you just because you put one as your preference. And in that case, at the interview, it will be asked to you once again, which program do you prefer, if you pass the interview, of course.
Great, that's very clear. The last question for now, is it possible to select it with an A2 level of French?
It is possible. We still encourage you to work on your French. Now that you have a lot of time, you can really improve with a European language. It's easier to improve in such a short time. It's more difficult when you're trying to learn Polish, like me, but with a Latin language. I would tell you that some programs won't take you with an A2 level of French. For example, the minimum requirement for the law program of minimum language requirement for French is B1 with a tendency towards B2. So you would not be able to apply for this. For the EIS program, you can be accepted with an A2 level, and you can also be accepted upon the condition that either you send us a certificate that you reached B1 by the beginning of the academic year, either you have to participate in the Natolin Language Summer Academy. It's a special language academy happening on the summer. It's a 3 weeks intensive course that tries to put you on a little bit higher level. Let me also tell you, though, that in reality, most of the courses are in English, the compulsory ones. There are compulsory courses in French. There are a lot of optional courses in French, but I would say the academic program is predominantly in English. However, it is important to have this French requirement, so you should be incentivized to do so.
Okay, thanks. Let's see if there are any more questions.
Yeah, let's wait.
If not, they also have your contact details in our intranet in the virtual stand, and maybe you can also send the presentation.
Okay, we'll arrange that maybe later on. Okay, then thank you to Ina for organizing this, and thank you for everybody for your questions. I'm always very happy when there are questions at the end of such a long presentation. So thanks a lot for your attention.
And thank you also for joining us. And also, if our audience doesn't know, we also have the College of Europe in our in-person fairs in Barcelona yesterday, but also in Madrid. So if you are in Madrid, you can talk to them in person as well.
Okay, thank you very much again.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.